guys in the dark. I used to live in the West Village in '08. One afternoon I went to the local Rite Aid during rush hour. I remember that I had a bunch of stuff that I picked up in my arms. As I grabbed a large 20-pack of batteries in one of the middle sections, I turned around to head towards the register. Some woman plows right into me. All of my stuff goes yard sailing across the floor, and I give a quick embarrassed, "Sorry, are you okay?" as I immediately reacted to kneel down to grab everything, even if it wasn't entirely my fault. As I'm on my knees fumbling between the toilet paper and the batteries, this woman is simply just staring at me. She didn't budge at all. She was also just standing there, not helping me at all. It was a bit awkward, looking up at her. And sure enough, it's Mandy Moore. And oh my hell, is she giving me the death look. Definitely not the same look that she is giving in A Walk to Remember. She just remained there, completely disgusted at me as she watched me pick it all up, making me feel like a low piece of shit. She eventually walks off, and I'm now in a long line at the register that, of course, has about 5 registers with one person working them, sort of taking it all in, slightly reeling about that bitch. That's when I start to hear someone behind me huffing and puffing in the back of the line. Sure enough, it's Mandy Moore. She was obviously in a traffic rush to be somewhere. Definitely somewhere not domestic, like a Rite Aid, where all the plebs exist. She does this, and the whole time, till I check out. As I leave, I look back at her, with a "see you later, cunt" smirk on my face. Made me get a little bit of dignity back, getting out of there before she even did. Heading home, I happened to live across the street from the Cowgirl restaurant, and next to it was this really good smoothie place at the time called Elixir or something like that. It was empty, and I'm all like, I need a smoothie. So to calm my temper down from that bitch's humiliation attempt, I decide to head over there. As I order, the door chimes to set off as it flies open. It's the motherfucking bitch, huffing and puffing through her nostrils, literally puffing down the back of my neck. I turned back around to the smoothie dispatch and gave my best idiot Midwestern "what you got on the menu today" questionnaire. I was asking the dumbest questions about their offerings, while thinking out loud my thought process to which would be the best to my liking. The perfect stall tactic, in my opinion. She was absolutely furious, trying to argue with me to move aside. I just ordered, and didn't acknowledge that she existed, just like what she had done to me. She was so inflated, I don't even think that she even recognized me from 10 minutes ago in the Rite Aid. She kept trying to speak up to the register, trying to get them to take her order over mine, but I just raised my voice louder when she did. Made her sit through a couple of minutes listening to my conversation with myself. The best part was, the employees wouldn't even acknowledge her. I was the local there. They knew me very well. It was my turf. God, it felt good to do that to her. Finally got my blueberry banana with granola. Didn't even look at her when I had walked out. I went upstairs to my apartment. I've experienced and seen many crazy things during my time on Hudson Street, but that was one of the most bizarre things to happen in literally 20 minutes. Mandy, if this thing ever comes to you on the internet, do yourself a favor, because I'm going to leave you with this. Your self-absorbed celebrity pass bullshit doesn't work. You're not even a has-been, just a once was. You're just a basic bitch, and I happen to be the local around here. So get your shit together, and stop acting like you're something special, because you're really not. A few years back, I worked as a cook in a hotel with an attached upscale pub. It was a popular spot for celebs to stay because of its proximity to both an indoor hockey arena, which would be repurposed for concerts, large stand-up shows, large local landmark that was often used for outdoor concerts. Rihanna was doing a tour with Akon at the time, and she chose to stay at our hotel instead of the one Akon was staying at. Rumor has it the reason was because she wanted to be the most important person at that hotel. A slow night close to closing time. She comes down to the pub for a meal. Her and 2 of her friends take up a booth, have the surrounding area blocked off so no one could bother them while they ate. In the empty restaurant, at least. Her bodyguard sits at the bar. Her first order comes in, calamari. Pretty straightforward. We had a good calamari. I make up the plate, add a regular garnish, a whoosh of sweet chili, mayo here, a few microgreens there, nothing too overpowering, just the calamari resting on a small handful of greens, 2 sauces, and that's about it. Not even a minute after it leaves the kitchen, it gets sent back, saying that they wanted just calamari, none of that other stuff. I fry another portion, and I send it out. No complaints afterwards. Next they order mains, the 2 with her ordered stuff from the menu, but Rihanna had wanted something custom. Usually we don't do any special orders, but because her order was super easy, I was okay with doing it. She wanted noodles with Parmesan cheese and garlic. I put all 3 plates together, and I send them out. For Rihanna, I made capellini, which is angel hair pasta with garlic and Parmesan. Salt and pepper were the only other things that I added to it. Almost instantly, her pasta comes back. It's not good enough, was the only criticism, and I was asked to make it once again. I make almost the exact same thing, taste for quality, and I send it out once again. It comes back just as fast. The same problem. I'm kind of confused. I don't know how I could possibly make those 3 ingredients taste any different. So I risk making the same meal a 4th time. I send out a new plate, the exact same way. About time they got it right, she told the server. That same server had told me that she had never wanted to strangle someone so much in her entire life. I guess that she was equally hard on her as well. I finish off my shift. I shut down the kitchen, changing into my street clothes, and I sit at the bar. The 3 of them and the bodyguard happen to still be sitting there. I got to watch her treat her server like she was a child for another 20 minutes before they happened to leave, and they went into their room. Peter Wentz had dated a couple friends of mine, girls that he grew up with in the suburbs of Chicago, around about the time when Fall Boy's first album had first come out. The deal was that he got to screw each one of them whenever he wanted, and bring them on tour with Fall Out Boy one at a time. They were falling all over themselves to be the one he wanted at the moment, while still trying to remain friends. It was awkward all around, because one of them would show up with a new pair of expensive shoes that he had bought for her, and the other would grit her teeth and smile because all she had gotten was a quick fuck in the ass, and then been asked to spend the night curled around his drum set on the tour bus in the driveway, while he had filled his parents' hot tub with the local hot girls. I heard that he had a favorite thing to do with his brothers and bandmates, where they would invite all of these young girls over and pour beers onto their heads and say things like, "Fucking love it." And my 2 desperate concubine friends would laugh at how hard these younger girls were trying to hang out with Pete Wentz, who happens to be a rock god in our town. It went back and forth like that for a while before I realized that all of these people were just fucking assholes. I couldn't even look at any of them anymore. I was only actually around him once, when I went over to my friend's apartment to pick up some movies that I had loaned her. She had asked me to come up and chat with her friend for a minute, and I swear I was there for a good 10 minutes on her couch with her before I even realized that it was Peter Wentz. Shadow douchebag. He was reclined in the chair, back in a corner, hat pulled over his face, playing with his sidekick, rolling his stupid lip piercing around with his tongue. He didn't even say hello or acknowledge that another person had walked into the room. So naturally I jumped a fucking mile when he muttered something out loud on his phone. Hi, I said, and he nodded to me without looking at me. I had gotten out of there so damn fast because I knew my friend was just doing her best nonchalant, look at who's in my house right now, he's totally my boyfriend kind of look. So anyways, a couple of years later, I was sitting in the back of a bar in Chicago where a couple of stable adult friends had brought me for a low-key birthday drink when some kind of secret door opens in the wall and a bunch of men in black t-shirts push through. Pete walks in, dragging his really skinny, coked-out version of Ashley Simpson behind him, and behind her trailed both of Pete's cast-off fuck puppets, the 2 of them just kind of smiling dumbly and staring all bleary-eyed, like trained monkeys who were just happy that they still got a good food pellet at the end of the day. Ashley Simpson had stepped on foot on her way past, and then her security asked us to clear the area so these 4 high-priority human beings could have some privacy. I have to say, he was a total douchebag, and I definitely don't care for his music anymore. I was at Burke Williams Day Spa in Santa Monica in the late 90s. I had gone a bit early, so I could relax in the sauna before my massage appointment had started. I got my locker key, undressed, showered, and then I entered the sauna, which happened to be empty at the time. It's not a huge sauna, basically a long bench on one side, and then a smaller bench perpendicular to that, forming an L shape. A few minutes later, the door opens up, and a guy happens to come in, wearing a hand towel wrapped around his head. He had sat down on a smaller bench, and I immediately saw that it was Kevin Spacey. I was a fan of his, and hadn't heard anything about his sexual provocations at the time. I thought that it was kind of cool that he was there the same time that I was. Such an LA, New York type of thing. Oh look, Gina Davis is buying sunscreen at my Rite Aid kind of thing. But I wasn't going to intrude on his personal space by saying anything to him at all. With that, he felt the same obligation. After a few minutes, he starts rubbing his crotch through his towel. He wasn't blatant about it, but it was easy to tell what he was doing. After he got his pup tent up, he started stretching his legs. This meant that he accidentally rubbed against his leg a couple of times, then apologized. I waved it off the first time. Then Grimace smiled the next time, as I'd pretty much had enough of it. The third and final time, he decided to brush his leg against mine, and then just leave it there. I looked over at him. He had his eyes closed, but was rubbing his crotch once again. I got up, and I left at that point. I really wanted to lean over and tell him I thought that it was pretty stupid for an Oscar-winning actor to hang out in a sauna at a legit health spa, and then assume a wet hand towel wrapped around his head would give him the anonymity to make unwanted sexual advances on someone. So get it together, Spacey.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.